Brandon Lee and I talk about LinkedIn, specifically around our network and practices that we overlook as sales professionals that we can adopt that will help us to see a game changer in our sales performance. Check it out. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another great episode of the Sales Evangelist Podcast. I'm your host, Donald C. Kelly, the Sales Evangelist. And I'm so excited for another great episode. I'm so excited to be here with you today. And on this episode today, we are with Brandon Lee. Brandon actually runs an organization called Fist Bumps, and you can check them out. But they're geniuses when it comes towards LinkedIn. They help individuals and organizations to maximize their LinkedIn profiles so that they can get more opportunities to connect with more people. And obviously, like you and I are looking for more results. In this conversation today, we talk about 3 common practices. These are simple things that many overlook that if you do consistently can help you to be able to generate not only more attention, but generally more appointments, more opportunities because of the simple fact that you're present. Now, we're not going to, this is not about a specific sales strategy. Like if you do this particular pitch, then all of a sudden people are going to buy from you. It's a common sense practice that many of us should do when it comes towards our network. If this is your first time listening to our podcast, the show is designed to help you to 3 to 5x your sales pipeline and help you to increase your close rate. We want to double what you're closing right now. The strategies and principles and tactics that we're going to outline for you in this episode are not confusing, not too difficult, but the key is that you got to apply it. So once you go ahead and test it out, check out the things that you're hearing, that you're seeing on this episode, and let me know what kind of results you're seeing from that. If you enjoy this stuff, again, check out our mastermind. We have a sales mastermind that many of you probably would care for, where we get a chance to practice strategies like this, strategies for top of funnel building activities, outreach when it comes to phone, emails. And it gives us an opportunity to learn from the best of the best or others in our industry. Check out our mastermind. Go to thesalesevangelist.com/mastermind. Brandon, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks, Donald. I'm so excited to be on with you.
Well, I'm really looking forward to the conversation today. You and I are fellow LinkedIn, advocates, and how we could best utilize the platform. So I'm really looking to get the deeper understanding about some of the strategies that you're seeing and what we can use and how sellers can utilize this to be able to improve their overall sales game. But before we dive into that, Brandon, why don't you take us down a path a little bit? Give us a minute or two about what you do.
Yeah, so I'm the founder of Fist Bump, which we have a concierge service primarily for C-suite sales leaders, and it's a done for you and done with you model. We appeal to people who believe they should be using LinkedIn better, but they either aren't sure what to do or they just don't have time to do it for themselves.
And this is why it makes sense to be able to have this conversation, because you know a lot of stuff that we could adopt as sales professionals, as individual building our own brand or our identity on a platform. And let's get real. Like right now in the day, in the age we're living, LinkedIn it's a part of, it should be a part of every B2B sales tech stack. And anyone in business should have that LinkedIn presence. The challenge I'm seeing is that most people is kind of like a dog chasing a car. they, what happens when you actually catch the car, right? What happens when I actually connect with a prospect, or when I do get on a platform and somebody engages with me and I have a network now? I just have a network of people or a network of cars, and I have no clue what to do with them.
Yeah.
Do I just bury them in the backyard? Wow. So I want to learn from you. What are some of the 3 best practices you're seeing working with executives, working with leaders, folks that are trying to maximize LinkedIn, that can help us as sales professional to be able to utilize our network in a more effective way? Would that be fair if we talk about that?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. And I like that you're using the word network, because it's also the mindset of networking versus selling, right? I think Sales Navigator is a great sales tool, and LinkedIn is a great networking tool. But if we confuse them and we try to sell before we network, we try to sell before we build some sort of a rapport, some sort of a reputation, then we're just a cold voice that's demanding or asking people for their time. And people have enough of that. They
But
get enough of that.
why is that such a bad thing? if I use LinkedIn as a selling platform? I know you started going down a path, you kind of answer it there, but go deeper into that.
Yeah. So, look, overall, it is a sales platform. But if we lead with the sale, we're coming at it cold.
Hmm.
And we are just one of hundreds, if not thousands, of cold voices that are demanding and clamoring for buyers' time. The other reason it's difficult is in any market, your TAM, your total addressable market, um, data will show somewhere between 1 to 3% of your TAM are currently in market. So when all of our messages are demo now, I got a solution, let's talk, you're really hunting for those 1 to 3% that are currently in market. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if you think about the way all of us act, we're just for general numbers, we're 25 years into this internet era, this internet and social age.
Yeah.
What's happened in that first 25 years is a lot of the cheap, quick methods of capturing attention through a new tool came about.
Hmm.
Lots of automation, right? You can automate messages out to hundreds of people per day. It's not acceptable to the LinkedIn terms and conditions, but there's a lot of tools out there that do it. And early on, it was effective because it was new, it was novel. People were getting messages from people they didn't know, going, "Oh, interesting. I didn't know this existed." But now that we get hundreds of those every week, especially buyers in key, key positions, they're getting hundreds of those. They're sick of it. It's saturated. And for everybody just to think about the way that you buy, the way that we buy has evolved too. We don't need to accept the cold inbound messages to learn about things. We can keep people at bay while we do our research journey. The data shows that. And over the last 10 years, it used to be that buyers did about 25%, 30% of their research before talking to sales. And now it's pushing 80%. Why is that? Well, they don't need salespeople to do their research. So we have to shift from this lead gen mindset. I'm going to go out and find people who are ready to talk to me to a demand creation mindset. And that's not a marketing function. That's a sales function. We have to go out and create demand and we can do that with our LinkedIn activity.
How? Now this is where it comes down to it. So give me some ways. How do we go about doing this?
Yeah, yeah. So look, there's the tools are in place, and lots of us have posted content. Let's talk about what a lot of people do. Ooh, I got this new tool. It's called LinkedIn. I'm going to go create content and I'm going to publish content. And we tend to start by posting very brochure type information. Let me tell you about my product. Buy my stuff. And we post that and we come to this conclusion that LinkedIn doesn't work because people aren't engaging with that brochure type of information. Well, if we look at it as a networking event, I like to talk about LinkedIn from the mindset of a 24/7, 365-day conference. When we're at a conference, we're walking around, and maybe you're walking down a big hallway, you're going to a breakout session that you looked at the agenda, you want to go listen to somebody, you looked at somebody next to you, you see their lanyard, their name tag, their name, their company name, their title, and you're like, oh, I want to meet that person. And we walk up to them and I say, "Hey, Donald, my name's Brandon Lee. Nice to meet you." And then I pull out my brochure and I stick it in your face and I go, "We got this cool thing that you need. Can I get 20 minutes of your time for a demo?" Right? We don't do that in a hallway like that. We don't do that in that environment. We don't do that because, well, it doesn't work. Number one, it just pushes people away. What we do is we introduce ourselves, and I may look down and go, "Oh, Donald, you're in Florida. When did you fly in? Or did you drive in? Or what was it like? Oh, you guys have been having crazy weather this summer, this past winter. I can't believe you're in a t-shirt, type of things." We do that chit chat because that's our way of starting to get to know them, let them get to know us. We're moving ourselves down that know, like, and trust variable. We chit chat to get to know people. We're setting it up. Yes, we always have in the back of our mind, I want to talk to Donald. He's a part of my ICP. I'd like to get to know him, but we don't go for the sale immediately. So when it comes to publishing content, we've got to create more of a strategy of educational and informative content. We're going to post, but let's post things that buyers are going to be interested now, whether they're in market or not. How do we help them? How do we help them think? So just simple things like taking some of our really good phone calls with customers and turning those into social posts. I was on a call with the sales leader in this industry. You don't need to use names, but I was the sales leader in this industry, and this is what they're going through. I just as an example, I spoke to a sales leader about a month or so ago, and he was sharing that they were having a 97% close loss rate from their SDRs. They just weren't
Sheesh.
getting anywhere with those SDR functions. Their MQLs were virtually zero. Well, turning that into a social post, hey, this is what other sales leaders are experiencing. This is the challenges they're facing. They still had a pretty good conversion rate in their AEs. They had about a 36% conversion rate. The challenge they had is their AEs didn't have pipeline, and they didn't have pipeline because their traditional methods of building pipeline, cold calls and cold emails, weren't producing fruit. So turning that into a post and helping other leaders see, hey, what you're experiencing, you're not alone. This is what other people are sharing. This is what other people are doing to overcome their challenges. So just looking at posts from that lens of how do I contribute to where they are today? How do I get in with them by showing, hey, I have information, I have answers. I'm a source of some of this for you that can help you. Intrigue them to want to connect with you, intrigue them to want to follow you and pay attention to what you post because they're learning from you, not they're getting pitched by you.
So making it intriguing. So let's go back into that. Let's pick a random industry we're both not a part of. Let's say it's I don't know. I sell CRMs on
Mm-hmm.
LinkedIn. Well, no,
Yeah.
no. I sell CRM. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm going for marketing directors. What are some contents that I could share that might intrigue those marketing directors to be
Yeah.
interested in me?
Yeah, let's dive in and know what are the common challenges that your customers bring to you when they reach out and say, we need a CRM system. Why? What are you
Mhm.
experiencing? What's going on? And when they share that information with you, turn around and use that as content. Hey, if
Yeah.
you're in, if you're like this person, this is their situation, their details. They don't have a CRM, and these are the negative effects it's having. They're not tracking their deal flow all the way through. They don't know if salespeople are consistently reaching out to their prospects in there. We don't know if they're sending out the right emails. We don't know what emails they're sending out. We don't know when they're making calls. Like all of those things that could be taking place. Like these are the challenges that they're facing. And then maybe you end it with, these are some ways that CRM can help you. Or do a post the next day on, hey, yesterday I shared some of the challenges. Today, here's some of the ways that CRM can help you solve those problems or fill those holes.
What I liked about the part you said was what are they experiencing? Like, why are they experiencing? And I think that's what make the best content for me. Like when I could, when it's like if I'm consuming something and somebody is that they posted or a video or something they have, I'm like, man, Brandon just read my mind. Like literally, that's what I'm going through. And it's usually like I think for many of us, we think we're so unique, but I mean, there's 8 billion of us on this planet. We may look different, but for the most part, our behaviors are still the same. And one of the funny things, my wife sent me this reel earlier. And she was like, "You got to listen to it. You got to listen to it." It was this kid that pretending he's on a podcast. This guy, and one of the influencers, and she was like saying that trying to make quotable stuff on a podcast, when you're all of a sudden you start slowing down while you're talking, then all of a sudden you think it's making a quotable content, and it was just funny. But here's the thing though, the reason why she thinks it's so funny because so many people do that. And since I'm in a podcasting game, it's relatable, and that's the same concept with a lot of these reels. It's relatable to someone, so therefore it,
Yeah.
it applies. So that, I love that concept there. Can we make sure our content is relatable? All right. So
Yeah.
maybe go to number
And
two and
here,
number three. Sorry, go for it, Brandon.
yeah, well, let me, can I end it with this? When it comes to
Yes, please.
relatable content, think about these three things. When you're talking with customers a lot, you're talking with prospects, you're a source of great information because they're feeding you all this, the problems they're having, the goals that they have, what they've done before that didn't work. So think about the conversations you're having and think in terms of what are you thinking, what are you observing, and what are you feeling? And I know in business, we're not supposed to feel, which is complete BS. We all feel. We're human feelers, right? We're not human beings. We're human feelers. But what do you think? What are you thinking about? What are you observing? What are you feeling? Just sit back at the end of a week and go, what are the common themes been that you've been hearing from people this week? Share that stuff. Hey, when I observe this industry, these are the trends that are going on. These are the topics that I talk about with people, or people are talking about with me, is probably the better way of saying it. So, that educational, informative, intriguing content, think, observe, and feel is a great way to get there. The other option on the content is read other people's blogs and articles and then summarize it. Hey, I read this article. If you are and add the title of people who you talk to in this industry and add the industry, this is a good article for you because, and share three key points from the article. Help them think. Like, none of us have time. So if you summarize an article and feed them information, they didn't take the 10 minutes to read the article, but maybe they took the 60 seconds to read your post.
Mm-hmm. I like it. I love it. So the type of content, make sure it's relatable, make sure it's that experiential stuff that you are probably going through, your clients, excuse me, are going through. And then, you can obviously curate or reshare or, summarize other stuff, other insights that you pull. People
Right.
find it intriguing. I want to keep being successful on LinkedIn. What else can I do, Brandon?
Comment, comment,
Ooh,
comment, comment, comment. I am a big believer that commenting is the key.
why?
And why? Number one, when we post, there's so much is out of our control. There's an algorithm on the other side that determines who gets to see our post. There's people on the other side that they get to determine if they want to come see our post. They determine if they want to stop and pay attention to our post. When we comment, one, we do, it is a little bit, I don't love the word hack, but it is a little bit of an algorithm hack. And that when you go comment on other people's posts and other people's comments, you actually expose your personal brand, your picture and your name. Because whenever you comment, your picture, your name, and a bit of your headline shows on your comment, you're exposing your brand, your person, to other people who you may not have been connected to. So it opens you up to a lot of second connections, third connections. Uh, Find people that influence your buyers who they're paying attention to. Think about, Donald Kelly. You influence a lot of leaders, you influence a lot of sales leaders. Go comment on the influential voices in the space. So, authors, speakers, and consultants, they produce a lot of content. Well, if they're the ones that are influencing your buyers, go to their profile, ring their bell so that you get notifications every time they publish, and go comment on their posts. So if you get somebody that gets hundreds of comments and tens of thousands of views on their post, go comment early, be a part of that digital conversation. If we relate it back to that mindset of looking at LinkedIn like a conference, if you
Mm-hmm.
see somebody that's standing, they're talking, they got 4, 5, 10 people around them that are listening and engaging with them, and you look and half the people there are people you want to know, you go join the conversation. You listen. And a comment is where you add into that conversation. You're like, I'm here. I have something thoughtful to say as well. And you comment and you add to it. So it exposes our brand to people that may not know who we are. It exposes us to potential new relationships. And we comment on comments.
Comment on comments. Oh my.
Yeah.
Game changer stuff here. But here's the thing, it's not that complicated too, right? Like you're not telling me to do anything that's like overly difficult here, Brandon. It's me being interested in another human being. That's what I
Yes.
love about this. It just makes so much sense
Yeah.
from that perspective.
And from the algorithm perspective, it'll actually it'll take your posts and show your posts to more people. So the more I comment, what the tech sees, the algorithm sees in the back end is I've commented on Donald's post. So it sees that I'm connected to you and I'm commenting on you. Why wouldn't it then want to show my post to some of the other people that have commented on your post? One
Yeah.
thing that we find too, when you're going to go post content, a lot of people post it, they turn off LinkedIn and they go back to their quote real job. If you go spend 10 minutes commenting on other people's posts, post your comment and go comment for another 10 minutes and see what happens to your own impression count. More people are going to see your post because LinkedIn rewards us for being active. I mean, think about what LinkedIn's goal is, right? LinkedIn's goal is more people coming into LinkedIn, spending more
Right.
time in LinkedIn, looking at content. So their sponsored and paid ads get in front of more people. So the more you are the catalyst of conversation, the more you're the catalyst of impressions, they're going to reward you and show your post to more people.
It's natural. Oh my. Love it.
Mhm.
Love it. All right. So I'm posting good content now. I'm engaging. Let's go back up. So I'm posting good content, and then I'm commenting and being very thoughtful. Taking time to comment on the comments, like to be out there. What else can I do? What's probably the third thing that I can do to really
Yeah,
maximize my
and the
LinkedIn?
third thing's got two parts for me. One
Okay.
is look at your view, who's viewed your profile. If you're not using Premium or Sales Navigator, do it. It's the best investment you'll make. It's not that
Agreed.
expensive. Use it. Um, go look at who viewed your profile because the more active you are with your post and the more active you are with comments, you're going to get more people looking at your profile. Now, they not all of them are going to be your ICP. They're not going to be the exact people you want to talk to. That's okay. But go look and see. And if there's second connections, send them a connection request. Hey, I saw that you looked at my profile. We're in the same industry. Is it okay if we connect? And I like asking that question. It's a sign of respect. We're not presuming, oh, we're just going to get connections. Look at their profile briefly. Like, I'm not saying take hours and hours every day, but go look at their profile. What do you have something in common? Oh, I saw that you went here. I did this the other day. Somebody looked at my profile. Look, they weren't a perfect connection, but she went to school where I went to grad school. She was an undergrad. I was at grad school. So my connection request was, hey, I saw that you looked at my profile. Her company could be a good target for what we do. Her role, probably not. But
Yeah.
still, it's like, I went to Texas State for my master's degree. And I said, hey, Bobcat, that's the mascot. I saw you looked at my profile. We both went to Texas State. Is it okay if we connect? Now, there is something about social credibility, about building our connections. I think it's a bit of a vanity metrics.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there is some social credibility that comes with it. Definitely get over 500 connections, so at least shows 500 plus. But you start getting 3,000 connections, 4 or 5,000 connections. There's still a little bit of that. Oh wow, you've got a lot of connections. It implies that you have influence. It implies that you're active. It implies that you're not just hiding behind the scenes trying to hunt with the rifle and only talk to people that you want to sell to. It demonstrates that you're a bit more of a active conversationalist in the community. So look at who's viewed your profile and then send out connection requests. If somebody viewed your profile who's one of your targeted, ICPs, man, take that opportunity. The door's open. Send them a message. Hey, Donald, I saw you looked at my profile. Thanks for doing that. Can I ask why you looked at it? Or, hey, I'd love to have a conversation with you, and open up the opportunity to further the conversation. Now, notice I didn't say demo. We're not saying, hey, you
Yes.
looked at my profile. Let's get on a demo. No. In a conference environment, we meet people They're our ICP. They're exactly who we want to talk to. We don't lead with a demo. We take the information that we have, whether it's on their name tag, where they're from. Oh, you're from Florida. When did you fly in? How long are you going to be here? You look at what they're wearing. Maybe you respond to that like, oh, you're all bundled up. It's been cold here, isn't it? Like, we look for ways to create conversation, have a dialogue to get to know people and let them get to know us. Lead with that humanity, because business has always been about, we do business, all things being equal, we're going to choose people who we like, who we
Yeah.
like to be around. So when you're sending connection requests, whether it's they viewed your profile and you send them out, or you're sending connection requests, just be human. Like, send out the connection request. If somebody is in a company that is a target account, but they're not the right person, man, connect with them anyway. You never
Yeah.
know. Like, they might be really good friends with your ICP in their company. You don't know that. So get to know as many people as you can. And that's why I said use LinkedIn for networking, and then watch where the doors start to open that you can push, not slam it open, but push it open a little bit. Have a call with somebody who's not your ICP, but they're in a target company. Hey, would you like to get on a phone and get to know each other? Have that dialogue. Use
Mm-hmm.
it like networking, not use it purely for sales.
I love this. So we have three simple things. One, post content. Two, comment, comment, comment. And three, take advantage of the views to start conversation, because it comes around to people knowing, like, and trusting you. This is a network. It's your
Right.
network you're building, your professional network that you're building here. And if you do this, opportunities will come.
Yeah.
Brendan, I love this. If there's one major piece of advice you would tell somebody who's listening to this episode and they're thinking, I gosh, I just I'm afraid of getting started. What's that one major piece of advice?
Yeah. Address the imposter syndrome, because we all carry it. Realize that your experiences do matter. I don't care if you're young and you're just getting started. What you think, what you observe, and what you feel is important. Share it from that perspective. Nobody expects you to be an expert right now. If you've been in the industry for a long time, share the same thing. What do you feel? What do you observe? What are you thinking? What's going on in your industry? The one main thing I would say is just start. Just start, create content, and know that it takes a little bit of time. There's no, I'm going to write the perfect post and POs are going to start magically falling out of the sky. It takes time, like anything else. When I started in sales 25 plus years ago, and I started doing cold calls, my first cold call sucked. My second one sucked too. Like, it takes a while, it takes practice. So just start creating content, start commenting. It gets easier the more that you do it. And then learn from other people. Go see what other people are doing.
Love
Get
it, man.
started.
Get started. If folks out there listening to this want to get in touch with you, Brandon, to be able to learn a little bit more about you or to connect with you, what's the best way for them to go about doing so? Because you guys do have a tool that does help salespeople. You mentioned at the very
Yeah.
top, or
Yeah. So,
help folks in business.
yeah, for sure. Hey, the best way to find me is on LinkedIn. Brandon Lee. A lot of people still remember, they call me the Crow at times, Bruce Lee's son. Different person, obviously, but yeah, I'm on LinkedIn. It's Brandon Lee. You can find me there. The company is called Fist Bump, and we do have a tool that helps you strategize and be consistent with commenting, so that you're not just going to the news feed and commenting on what's there, but you can strategize whose post do you want to comment on, how often do you want to comment, and it kind of leads you through it.
Well, love it. We're gonna put this in our show notes so you guys go and check out Fist Bump. I mean, they could pull up the website right now. You can see
Yeah.
that they do some pretty cool stuff. So Brandon, we got this here. We're gonna put this in our LinkedIn profile. Sorry, in our show notes, so they can get
Thank you.
connected to you and learn more from you, man. Thanks for being here, for coming on the show today.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks for having me, Donald.
That was Brandon Lee. I hope you enjoyed the episode as much as I did. I really like the idea of commenting. I tend to post and I comment, but I need to do better at commenting. So that's one of the practices I'm going to take and apply. So you tell me, from all the stuff you heard today about posting content, things that are going to help with tie back to your customers' experiences, what they're experiencing right now, commenting, as well as final ideas of making sure you take advantage of views. Which one of those are you going to take advantage of? Go ahead and let me know. Drop me a message on LinkedIn. You can even tag Brandon in a group message and let us know which one you're going to adopt. I would appreciate that. Again, this episode today, if you'd like to take advantage of our mastermind, check out the information down below in the show notes. But our sales mastermind, it is designed where we keep small groups of sales professionals together, maximum of about 10 to 12 people in a cohort. And we help you. It's really accountability at this point, and also challenging. We practice. We go through some of the difficulties that you're facing as a seller. We listen to calls. We evaluate some of your pitches, some of your outreach methods and objections you're facing, and give you the best practice. We help you with your goals so you can make sure you're getting the most from the mastermind. If you want to find more details or learn more, simply go to thesalesevangelist.com/mastermind. As always, I want you to thrive and succeed. I want you to be able to be successful. Most importantly, I want you to raise your level of thinking and go out and do big things. I'll see you on the next one.